let's just start, because basically we're already actually into this is now week 2 of what is 16 weeks or 15 weeks?
15 weeks.
A 15-week lean down process. So why don't you just go ahead and explain what you're getting ready for competition-wise. First, what organization are you going to be competing in, and what class will you be doing? So we'll start there, just so whoever
So
watches.
we're looking to do the INBF Mr. and Mrs. Connecticut show. It's an all-natural competition, which means it is drug tested to try and weed out the people who use illegal substances or substances on the banned
Steroids,
list.
basically.
Steroids,
yeah. So this is a steroid-free competition, and the testing would be lie detector test and possibly blood and urinalysis.
Yeah, I believe it's a polygraph test before, and for all the competitors, and then if you place blood testing.
Blood testing. Okay. And the competition, what is the exact date of the competition?
June 9th.
June 9th, okay, which leaves you approximately now 13 weeks out.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about your history of athletics and weight training, and let's start there and how that parlayed into your thoughts on bodybuilding.
So my history is in athletics, not in bodybuilding, as the sense that I'm doing it now. It was in football, playing throughout high school, throughout college, in my first year of college, and then after my football career ended, it turned to the weight room to try and stay in shape, stay healthy, and then turned into the passion, which resulted in my personal training career, and then just being around friends who are in the natural bodybuilding world is what kind of hooked me onto that, and I like the sense of competition, so I wanted something to be able to latch on to.
The last 6 months prior to actually starting the program, let's talk about the resistance training that you've done since then, because it wasn't exactly bodybuilding training and it wasn't exactly athletic training, it was more of a strength-based program. Is that
Yes.
accurate?
So up until about 3-4 weeks ago now, it was all sort of a strength training program, trying to build up my mass, put on some weight. I went from 157 end of last August to 180, which we weighed in at last month. So 4 weeks ago.
Tell me about some of the strength gains that you've seen during that time, and what sort of mass did you build, in terms of lean tissue, in terms of fat?
So, as I said, I went from about 157 to 180.
Right.
From about 7% body fat to still at 15%.
15, okay.
The goal was to not pass 15%.
Right. Was to get as heavy as you could without exceeding 15%.
Without exceeding 15%,
Okay.
correct.
Okay, you stopped right at 15%. Okay. And what sort of strength gains did you see in that period of time?
My
Let's go with
strength has
basics.
been just
Bench, squat, deadlifts.
my bench max when I was at 157 was around 230, I believe.
Okay.
And then as of January 1, that was when we did that, right?
When we did the strength totals was January 1.
It was about
that's
the
right.
first week of January. It was 265 for bench max. My squat went from about 315 back when I was at 157, so August, September time, to January again was 395. My deadlift went from about 375, 385 back in August, September to 440.
440 if we keep going. It's been substantial strength gains and certainly size gains, but now you go into the most important leg of getting ready for a bodybuilding competition, which is the lean down process, which is stripping off the body fat. So let's talk right now, because there's been 2 weeks and the training has altered a little bit over these past few weeks. So talk about how the weight training has changed over these last 2 weeks and how your body has changed.
So the volume in general has upped somewhat, not all too much. My focus before again was on strength, so it was just really my squat, my bench, and my deadlift was what my routine was centered around, trying to maximize those.
Okay.
What we've gone to now is really most days, 5 days a week training, 5-day split, or 5-day a week split in that. Splitting the legs into 2 days, one quad day, one hamstring day.
So let's go through the whole week. So what would obviously, you might train on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how a rest day falls. But let's just start this particular week. Let's start with what was the split on Monday?
So Monday's a rest day.
Monday was a rest day.
Tuesday was quad day.
Quad day, okay.
So quad day on Tuesday, we start off with pre-exhaust 2 sets of leg extensions to failure. All sets are to failure. Working to failure right now. Still trying to lift for growth, letting the diet and the cardio take care of the lean down phase.
Yep.
So we hit the 2 sets of extensions, then we move into squats. Same thing, 2 sets at squats.
So the squats are going to be pre-exhausted, which I'll have you guys know is absolutely the most horrible thing in the world. Give it a try sometime. Pre-exhaust on a leg extension, 2 sets to failure, followed by squatting right afterwards. It is a complete
12
disaster.
to 15 reps at that. High rep volume is exhausting.
The high volumes, especially when you're in the lean down phase and you don't have those extra calories, you don't have the extra energy, it's a struggle, but it is very effective for, basically you don't want to overload yourself right now. You don't want to overtrain, so you pre-exhaust the quads and you go into your squats and you're still going to get a ton of stimulation out of it, and it really works. Okay, so that brings us to Wednesday, or Wednesday was the...
So yeah, after we hit our squats, then we do our leg press, then our lunges. Finish up with some single leg stuff, try and split those up a little bit. Wednesday, we move into chest day. Chest day again, 2 sets of everything. All of our workouts are 2 sets.
2 sets, 2 working sets. So there might be a preliminary warm-up or 2, and then you get into 2 hard working sets.
Sets to failure.
And you'll do how many different exercises in a chest routine?
Chest routine is 5 different exercises. So we're looking for 10 sets total.
10 sets total.
Most days are 10 sets total.
Okay, and each one of the exercises, we're looking at different angles, so we'll do an incline press will be one exercise, some variation of that, a decline, a flat press, a fly. Is that the sort of variation?
Absolutely. Okay. And then with the focus, starting out of the bat with the incline presses, because one of my weaknesses is my upper chest, trying to get that pec to really pop in the upper part.
As someone who has no upper chest, I've been doing incline presses for 18 years, and it's done absolutely zero to make my pecs pop. But good luck.
Gotta try. Keep working.
Keep at it. Okay, so that's your chest routine on Thursday, which brings you to Friday. Well, by the way, we will
chest
talk
is
about
on Wednesday. Thursday to back.
To back. Okay. By the way, we will talk about cardiovascular training after we're done with the strength. So, okay, so we're on back. Similar protocol, I would imagine. You're still doing how many exercises?
Back, we come to. It's back and traps, so we come to 5 exercises for back, 1 exercise for traps. Kind of finish off with those 2 sets for again the 5 exercises, and then traps we're finishing off with 3 sets on that one, trying to get a little extra volume.
Okay, and that will bring you to, now we are on Friday, which is your arm day or shoulder day?
Shoulders and arms.
Shoulders and arms, so you go combining it all together. That's a rough.
It's a long day.
Yeah, arms and shoulders is an absolute nightmare.
Again, with the focus on that day is again my triceps, as those have been the part that's kind of lagging behind.
So do you train shoulders and then your arms, or you go arms and then shoulders?
Shoulders and then arms.
Okay.
And then when I do my arms, I superset tris with bis. Again, 2 sets of everything still to failure. Starting with the tri exercise, the tricep exercise, following with the bi in order to kind of conserve my energy.
That brings us to Friday, and Saturday is
hamstrings and calves and abs.
Hamstrings, calves, and abs. Okay, give us a general breakdown of what the...
So when it comes to hamstrings, it's really only 3 sets for the hamstring, or 3 exercises, sorry, for the hamstrings. Again, 2 sets. So with that, we start off with again a pre-exhaust of a lying leg curl, lying hamstring curl.
Okay, machine where you would be stomach down.
Yep, stomach down,
okay.
curl the heels to the butt on that.
And if you didn't have access to that, a lot of gyms don't have it anymore, you could simply do a seated hamstring curl and do the job.
A seated hamstring curl, 2 legs on that.
Okay.
So then we go into our Romanian deadlifts, straight leg deadlift.
Right.
We're gonna really focus more on constant tension on that muscle.
Right, keeping the weight going back, really working the posterior chain as opposed to just dipping down.
Squeeze those glutes, pull those hips through. Really focus on activating the glutes to stand up instead of pulling up with my lower back.
Right.
And arcing in there. Again, I like to keep those nice and slow, really.
With RDLs, it's one of those exercises where your low back is such a delicate articulation. you really want always slow, always controlled. I've seen some bozos come into the gym and, you know, put 405 on the bar and RDL it, slamming the weight up and down. You know, you're just asking for trouble, especially, you know, you're in a caloric deficit, you're getting ready for a bodybuilding show. The weight is definitely not the paramount
Coming
concern.
to weight, I've been sticking pretty much to 2 plates, 225.
225 is
and
more
just
than enough.
Really just controlling that weight, focusing on the activation of the glutes and the hamstrings, and really trying to pull those hips through instead of worrying too much about the actual weight that's on the body.
Which is the general theme of any bodybuilding program. You know, you see someone